Let's talk about my latest knitting projects, y'all. Hello everyone, Rochelle here, and I'm back to share some yarn goodness with y'all today. Okay, so I have a few projects that I wanted to share with you all. The first one is the Seven Sisters top, and it is designed by Sloan Lacoste. And it is published by Blue Sky Fibers. And of course, I will leave the link in the description box below for everything that I talk about today. So this lovely project, it is a paid pattern, and it calls for worsted weight yarn. And the bust circumference for this pattern ranges between a 40 to 57.5 inches. And in centimeters, that is 102 to 146. So I made the size 5, which is for the XXL. And in terms of the ease is not listed in the pattern or the Ravelry page, or at least where I could see it. However, with my pattern, with my top, I have about 2 inches, which is 5 centimeters of positive ease. And I'll show you a little bit later what this looks like on, so you can kind of see the ease that I have. And so in terms of the needle size, I used 2 needle sizes. I used a US 8, which is a 5 millimeter knitting needle. And also I used a US 10, which is a 6.0 millimeter knitting needle. So yay. So I did swatch. I thought that would be the smart thing to do. I did wet block my swatch by soaking it in water. And I left it in the water for about 30 minutes. Yeah, I set a timer for about 30 minutes. And then after that, I squeezed the water out of it, I towel dried it, and then I laid it on a blocking mat to air dry. And so, yeah, I did the swatch that way. And I did make gauge, so I was very happy about that. All right, so let's talk about this yarn. So I actually have 1 whole skein of yarn left. Y'all, what am I going to do with this 1 skein of yarn? I don't like being left with random 1 skeins of yarn. I have no idea what to do with them. But anyway, here it is. And so I only ended up using, I ended up using 4 skeins. But I'll talk about those numbers in just a second. But the yarn that I used is Barocco Vintage. It is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. And it is machine washable. And so each skein is 3.5 ounces or 100 grams. And it's 218 yards or 200 meters per skein. And so it is super soft, super squishy. And the colorway is actually called Dark Plum. And that number is 5180. But it is in the Dark Plum colorway. And it's absolutely stunning. It has like these speckles of dark blue and a little bit of red. It is stunning. Yeah, I love it. And it's so squishy. This yarn is so squishy and so soft. I just want to like squeeze it all the time. It's just wonderful. And so, yay, it's really nice. And yeah, I have a whole skein left. So if you have any ideas for me, let me know what I can do with 218 yards of worsted weight yarn. pattern is worked in the round, bottom up. So definitely keep that in mind. And so, of course, you start down here at the hem and then you work your way up. Now, trying on projects that are knit bottom up can be quite the challenge sometimes. And so basically, once I got to the armholes, I pieced it together with some stitch markers and I tried it on just to see, you know, how the fit was going to be and everything like that. And I really liked it. I liked the way it was fitting. And because of that, I felt comfortable with continuing on to finish the armholes, the neck holes, and seaming up that shoulder. So yeah, I'm glad that I was able to try it on at some point, but knitting bottom up can be tricky because, you know, you might knit the body too long or you might knit the body too short. And with this pattern, you really have to be careful because down here, I believe there's about 5 inches of ribbon down here. And then you get to your stockinette body portion. So you really have to be cautious and careful about how much you're knitting and just trying to try it on as you go the best that you can. But this really worked out for me and I'm really, really happy about it. Now, the only amount of seaming that I had to do, and I really don't even know if you count this as seaming, but I did a 3 needle bind off. And I did that right here at the armholes. And y'all, I am so proud of my 3 needle bind off. Like really, really proud. I have come to really enjoy doing the 3 needle bind off. It's so smooth and it looks great. I really like it. The 3 needle bind off is really, really cool. And of course, every time I have to do the 3 needle bind off, I always have to go and look at a tutorial on YouTube. I can never memorize it, but it really is an easy technique to do. So yay, love that. Really proud of it. The only thing about the 3 needle bind off that is a little challenging is that when you have those live stitches together on the 2 different needles, you really need to make sure that your stitches are lining up. So for example, let's just say you have 12 live stitches on each needle. When you're taking that 3rd needle and you're binding off, you really need to make sure that those 12 needles or those 12 stitches are lined up in front of each other. And that way, when you get to the end, you have bounded 12 stitches. And so that can be a bit tricky sometimes. Also, it's a bit tricky to make sure that with your 3rd needle, you're going through the 1st needle and the 2nd needle and you're knitting both of those. It's really easy to just knit one. And so you definitely don't want to do that. So those are just some tips to keep in mind when doing the 3 needle bind off. Let me know if you like doing the 3 needle bind off, or maybe you haven't tried it yet. It's a really cool technique that that I would definitely look into. But in terms of this pattern, as I mentioned, it is knitted bottom up. So you start by knitting the body. And then once you finish the body, you divide for the front and the back. And you also shape the neck. And so let's see here. You know, I'm trying to find like my front and back. Oh, okay. So I did put in a stitch marker to signify which is the front and the back. But honestly, like, you know, it's you can wear it either way, you know. Honestly, you could wear it either way. But yeah, so basically your neck and your armhole shaping is done after you split for the front and the back. And then lastly, you just knit the sleeves. Pick up, knit the sleeves. Really simple. I love how I picked up the sleeves here. Kind of has like a little braid there. It's not a braid, but it kind of looks like one. So I was really careful about picking up my stitches. And it's interesting how, like, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it still looks nice, but I don't know. Sometimes I pick up stitches better, like on the front than the back. It's really, really weird. Picking up stitches is not like my most favorite thing to do, but we get it done. And yeah, now I'm happy. I would say I'm proud with both sides of this armhole. And I don't really even know if I want to call it like a sleeve, because like the sleeve portion is really just this let's see, that's about 2 inches of ribbing. And so, I guess you could call it a sleeve. When wearing the shirt, it definitely looks like a sleeve. So yeah, so it's really nice. And yeah, so the ribbing, I do believe it is a 2x2, which I love. And it's beautiful. And that's on the neckline, the armhole, and of course that bottom hem. So this garment has a ton of drape, a ton of drape. And because it has so much drape, and I think it comes from the yarn. I don't know if it's the wool or what in the yarn, but maybe it could be the nylon. Now, I don't know. Anyway, the yarn has a ton of drape. So I knew, like, even though I had wet blocked my swatch, I knew that I did not want to wet block this top because I was afraid of it stretching out more if I wet blocked it. So instead, I decided to steam block this top. And yeah, I steam blocked it. I let it air dry and it worked out really nicely. So I'm really happy about that. And I love the way that it fits. And I'm so happy that I decided not to wet block it because I have a very short torso and I feel like it would have been down on my knees. It would have been like a dress at this point. And so I'm really happy that I steam blocked it and air dried it. And I'm very, very happy with the outcome of this top. Up next, let's talk about the best knit cable hat. And this is designed by Ashley Lilas. I feel like I've been saying it wrong. In the past, I've always said Lilas, but I feel like it might actually be Lilas. I am not sure. She's never corrected me, but I feel like I've been saying it wrong this whole time. But anyway, this is a wonderful free pattern and it is knit using super bulky yarn. Super bulky yarn is so much fun to knit with. I know you got to use the ginormous needles, but I'm telling you, you can get some really nice, well-defined results by using super bulky weight yarn. So this comes in one size, and the finished head circumference measurements is a 16-inch circumference, and that's measured from the outside, and it is 9.75 inches long. And so it does have a ton of stretch in it, which I really like. And in terms of big needles, big yarn, big needles, I used a US 13, which is a 9mm knitting needle. So that was a lot of fun. And okay, so I have this really weird thing where if I'm using knitting needles that are above like maybe like a US, I would say like above a US 11 or 13, I'm not a huge fan of like the clinking metal needles. Even though I love metal needles, I like my favorite knitting needles are my Chiagus, but I did purchase a set of Knitter's Pride Dreams. I did order those. They're called let's see, what do they call them? The Chunky Dreams or something like that. I'll put a link for those down below. But so yeah, so I use those knitting needles, but I don't like the cables of those knitting needles. And so I did switch them out with the Knitter's Pride Mindful cables, and they are swivel cables, and they are amazing. And okay, so what I'll do, instead of like listing each individual thing that I use, I am going to put a link in the description box, and I'm going to pin it as the top comment. I'm going to leave a link for my Amazon storefront, and in there I have all the knitting needles, the cables, all of that stuff, and everything that I like to use. It'll just be in that link. But yeah, so really, really nice. I got to make cables. This is only my third cable pattern, and it's amazing. So let's talk about the yarn. All right, so I have, oh yes, okay. So we used, all right, so this is Mary Soul Fuchsia yarn. It is a fine merino wool, and it is 98% wool and 2% polyamide or nylon. Each skein is 100 grams or 3.52 ounces. And each skein is 105 meters or 114 yards. And this is a number 6 super bulky weight yarn. And it is beautiful, and it is super soft, and I love it. So really good yarn. I haven't worn this hat a whole lot. It's been cold. We've been getting some cold days, so I might get to wear this hat sooner than later. But at this point, I would say that I'd recommend the yarn. It is beautiful. It's soft. It's squishy. There is a light halo about it. It is stunning, and it has like speckles of blues and reds in it, similar to the Barocco yarn. Very similar. Of course, this is more of a plum color, but in terms of like the actual individual speckles that are in the yarn, it's amazing because it's just like, it's not even like speckles. It's just kind of like blue fibers interweaved throughout the hat. I mean, it's stunning. This yarn is just beautiful. I really like it. Oh, I didn't tell you the colorway. So the colorway is called Hollyhock. And if you want the number, that's 1760. So a hollyhock. But it is absolutely stunning. Okay, so I did have a little bit left. And this just was like a one skein project. Easy one skein project. This hat is a really good, quick gift knit. So yay, if you're wanting to knit something for someone but you're kind of short on time, this is a really good hat to knit. It's super quick. It only took me like a few days to knit this hat, y'all. So really good hat. And this is how much yarn I have left. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'll hang on to it. I'm sure I'll find a use for it. But yeah, I don't even know if this is like an ounce. we'll see. But yeah, I didn't have much yarn left over, which I like. I don't like to have a ton of yarn left over when it comes to doing projects and stuff like that. So yay, I really like it. And so as I mentioned, this is only my third cable hat. So if you are a beginner cable knitter, I definitely recommend this pattern. It is a wonderful pattern. It's very well written. And what's so cool is that it comes with a full video tutorial on YouTube. And you don't have to buy the pattern to get access to the tutorial. It's not like it's unlisted or private or anything. You just go on YouTube and you go under Ashley's YouTube channel, and there it is. I mean, it's incredible, and I will tag her in this video so that way, like, when you go down to the description box, you'll just be able to click on her name. So yay, it is wonderful. And then it's got some garter stitching in between, and then it begins with, I'd say that's about 2 inches of ribbing. So love that, you know, just knit purl one by one. So that is wonderful. And yeah, like I said, I finished it. Take the truth, I finished it in like one day. Yeah, so, you know, finish it in one day. Really like that. All right, so let's talk about a few changes that I made. So basically, towards the end of the crown here, I did do some extra rows. So let's see here. I basically didn't want a pom-pom, and I had a ton of yarn left when I got to the end of the pattern where she had specified the end of the pattern. And so I was like, okay, I really don't want to bond off with like 20 plus stitches and then cinch it together, because I thought that would make it kind of like bulky and bunchy. Bunchy. Is that a word? I don't even know. But basically, I wanted my hat to be flat on the top because I knew that I wasn't going to add a pom-pom. So what I did is I knit the hat 2 inches longer. And I did that by, okay, so at the end of the pattern, you are instructed to knit 1 decrease round. Well, instead of doing that, I actually knit 3 decrease rounds. And so that made it have less stitches that you would have to cinch together. And now it's like a lot flatter. So I really like that. And yeah, it's wonderful, and I have no bunching at the crown, and it fits really well. There is a slight point, but I'm not bothered by it. I'm not bothered by it at all. I think it turned out really well. So let's talk measurements. Now, if I go back to the top here, the size that she had mentioned was that it would be 9.75 inches long. My hat, after blocking, is 9.5 inches long and 9 inches wide. So I would say I'm very, very close to what she had said. 9.5, 9.75. I mean, what is that? 0.25 difference. So, and of course, like, it's going to stretch out. So it might be at 9.75 inches long. Who knows? But my hat came out really close to what she said it was going to be. And also she mentioned that it was 16-inch circumference measured from the outside. It still fits my head really well. I, on average, have between like a 21-inch head circumference, and this fits amazingly. It really does. So, yeah, I think it'll fit your head as well. Of course, you know, you can always adjust your needle size and things like that to make it a little different. So I remember last year, go all the way back to last year, I did either it was a fall or a winter plans video for 2023. And this hat was one of them. Well, fast forward a year later, I still had made this hat, and I think it was because I was intimidated by the cables. But that is no more. So Jackie from Jackie is Making, she has a YouTube channel, and I will tag her YouTube channel as well. She is hosting a make-along called the Fall Feels Make-Along. It's either the Fall Feels Cowl or MAL. I can't remember. But anyway, I will link her channel below. And so basically, she encourages you to make anything that makes you think of fall. And so for me, I like to eat a lot of vegetables. I like to eat a lot of fruit, and I like to garden. And when I think about fall, I think about fall crops, fall vegetables. And so this hat made me think about a lot of the beautiful purple vegetables that are out there. And so when I saw this yarn and then she mentioned that she wanted to do a fall festival, I immediately thought about this pattern, thought about this yarn, and I said yes. Because to me, fall is different to everyone. You know, your fall colors might be more of your oranges and browns. Some people might like more of the reddish burgundy colors. But for me, when I think of fall, I think of like this beautiful dark purple color, and it's got some reds in there, and it's beautiful. It reminds me of fall. So, and that's another thing I would like to know. What colors remind you of fall? I would love to know. And yeah, definitely let me know. I did block this, and I blocked it by soaking it in water and whoops, trying to get away from him. I soaked this in water and I let it soak for about 30 minutes or so. And yeah, towel dried it, squeeze the water out, towel dried it, and then I placed it on a blocking mat, and I just kind of let it chill on the blocking mat for about 2 or 3 days. This little hat is so chunky, y'all. It took a while to dry. So I just put it in the spare bedroom, turn the fans on, and during the day I would just let it dry, air dry. But hey, I wasn't in a rush to wear it. It's only recently gotten cold enough to even attempt to wear this hat. So, but yeah, I just let it air dry for about 2 or 3 days. And yeah, these are the results. So wet blocking definitely helped. It helped relax the stitches and really bring the cables to life. And so I'm really happy with the results. And I can't wait to go outside and wear this hat. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these projects and these patterns. Would you make them? Have you already made them? I would love to know. Let me know what yarn you would use. But yeah, these are both excellent patterns. I really enjoy the process of making them. So yeah, and like I said, I will link everything below. I'll link the links below and everything like that. And also, I wanted to thank you all so much for supporting my Ravelry Wishlist. I've gotten quite a few patterns already this year, and I'm just so happy and just so grateful. And just thank you all so much for getting me those patterns. It's so nice, and I always love that little notification I get. It's like, oh, such and such is giving you a gift of a pattern, and yeah, I think it's really nice. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you all thank you. So let me know what you worked on while watching, or did you just chill and relax? Definitely leave me a comment. I love reading you all's comments. I think I've gotten caught up on most of my comments. I think sometimes it's like I get so many and I like responding to them. So definitely leave me a comment below. I look forward to reading it. They really do make my day. And thank you all so much for hitting that like button, and thank you for hitting that notification bell so you'll always know when I put new content out. And if you would like to see my face one more extra time per month, go ahead and click that join button and you will receive access to bonus videos. And so definitely check that out if you want. And just remember that each tier has different perks that goes along with it. So yeah, check out that join button. And yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, bye.